Welcome back to another episode of the Blue Hen Outdoors podcast. I'm pleased to have with us tonight Mr. Blake Barnes, Desert Waterfowl. How are you doing tonight? And yes, that is right. There is ducks in the desert. We're going to cover that tonight. How are you doing tonight, brother?
Doing good, man. It's Tuesday, so working through the week, but we're making it.
Oh yeah, can't complain. As long as we're making it through, is all we can hope for.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But let's start where I start with everybody. How did you get your start in the outdoors?
So, growing up, my uncle actually did a lot of hunting, and kind of picked it up from him. We're originally from the East Coast. I was born in Central Florida,
Okay.
and and then we moved to North Carolina. Lived in North Carolina for a long time. So we hunted in North Carolina. My uncle's dad lived out there and had some property, so hunted deer, all that kind of stuff out there, and then started hunting ducks with some of my buddies in North Carolina. And then once we moved out here, that's when I kind of really started getting into ducks and all that kind of stuff. So East Coast start, and then we kind of moved over here to the desert, which is a whole different animal.
Oh yeah. What as far as like differences, what kind of differences can you say, compare and contrast to off the top of your head?
Yeah, so East Coast hunting was a lot more sitting in ground blinds or sitting in tree stands, stuff like that. Guys hunt over piles of corn, all that kind of stuff. Um, when you get out here out west, it's huge desert and huge canyons. There are huge pine trees and all that kind of stuff up north here, but it's more glassing and spot and stock and that kind of stuff here. So that was kind of the main thing. I miss the naps that I used to take in ground blinds and up in the tree stand. I don't know how many deer I probably missed a chance at sleeping, but it was peaceful.
Oh yeah. Let's touch on that a little bit. Do you still big game or quote unquote big game hunt out in Arizona?
I do. So Arizona has some of the best big game hunting there is. They manage everything super tight and super well. I think there's only a handful of like doe tags for deer here. Like I believe they're um, only drawn by like kids or something like that. So they keep their doe population super high, so they've got plenty of breeders, and they keep a close watch on how many bucks get killed too. They only give out a certain amount of tags for the hunt, so um, it's really really good here, and we take advantage of it. Behind me, those are a couple of I killed that big one in the middle, and then the farther one over on this side just this past year, and then my lady killed the other two within the last couple of years. So we definitely take advantage of it.
I was gonna say that middle one is definitely not an East Coast deer behind you.
No, so that's a mule deer that I had scored. He went 168 and I think like 3/8 or something like that. Um, but yeah, that's a big southern desert mule deer.
Hmm.
So definitely a lot different than the East Coast whitetail that we had.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have some big boys up here where I'm at in Delaware and like around Jersey and some areas in Maryland, but the they don't get nothing like no big mule deer out like you guys have out in the desert, man.
Yeah, yeah, they're awesome. It's kind of weird to see. Like first time I seen a couple of big mule deer, I was like, "What the heck is going on?"
Oh yeah. Do you just hunt mule deer out there and whitetail, or do you hunt like other stuff? Like I know there's, I mean, elk and all that other fun stuff out there.
Yeah, so I've killed here in Arizona. I've killed a Coues whitetail with my bow.
Oh wow.
I've killed a bull elk with my bow up in the unit 6A, which is kind of more towards where it starts turning into pine trees.
Hmm.
Shot one of those with my bow. Shot a javelina with my bow. Um, and then I've shot a bunch of mule deer with a rifle. I've never shot a mule deer with a bow, but I've gotten a bunch with a rifle. Actually, that big deer I could have shot him with a bow super easy. I ended up shooting him at probably like 65 yards with a old pump 270 rifle. But
Nice. I know you sent me that one picture. I think you said your brother got that black bear. That was pretty decent.
Yeah, pretty good black bear. There's tons of bears here. It's kind of wild. They right now they're actually sticking down, eating on the prickly pear cactus that we have. It's a cactus that blooms and it's got a fruit that grows off of
Hmm.
it. And the bears drop down into the desert and eat on those, and it's crazy. Like my brother will go out every single weekend or anytime that he gets a chance, really, and he'll at least glass up one bear that's sitting there just eating the pears off the cactus.
Oh wow, that's interesting. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, super
Do
cool.
does that like affect like the meat at all? Like some like the berry bears up north in like Montana and Alaska, or not really?
Not really. The main thing here is we have like when you shoot them in the summer, they're gonna have kind of splotchy, like their fur will tend to fall out more when you're
Hmm.
like if you want a rug, you're probably gonna want to shoot one in the later season, not the summer time, because it's a lot harder to keep their pelt in good shape. But um, I don't honestly see a huge difference. They probably have a little bit thicker fat on them during the winter here, but they're usually pretty thick either way.
Yeah. Do you do any cat or javelina hunting out there?
We shoot javelina. So we have everything in Arizona is broken up into units.
Hmm.
And you can either draw tags or there's usually leftover tags that you can buy. And I like hunting in the metro units, which are kind of like right outside of town or sometimes even pretty close to town. So those will usually be archery hunts. So we'll go and shoot javelina with our bow. Or this past year, I actually drew a rifle javelina tag and tagged out on one of those. I had a new long range gun I wanted to try out, and I ended up shooting one at like 350 yards.
Nice. That's awesome. I've never. I mean, I know that a lot of people have mixed things about javelina and stuff. Like, I mean, not stuff, but javelinas out there. But
Yeah,
I've always wanted to at least try and get one and see what they're like as
yeah,
far
they're
as like
cool.
taste wise.
A lot of people mistake them for being hogs or pigs.
Hmm.
So they're actually in the peccary family. So they're like a giant hamster, which is kind of a weird deal. Like they stink really really bad. Their hair is like super coarse. It's like it's weird. It almost feels like porcupine almost. Like it's super super coarse hair. And they have a nasty gland on their back that like puts off the scent that makes them stink super bad, and it can actually make the meat go bad. So it's kind of something you got to watch out for while you're cleaning them, and it's just a different deal. Once you they look a lot like a hog, and then once you shoot one, you're like, oh, this is nothing like a hog.
Oh yeah. Well, let's get into the nitty gritty of what your brand is. How did you get the idea to start Desert Waterfowl Co?
So Desert Waterfowl Co. was just honestly like a just random idea sitting in the blind. Honestly, I don't even remember the first time that I thought about it. It was just kind of a we're always out there and taking videos with the guys. We hunt with a pretty tight group of guys. I'm sure it's like anywhere else. You don't want to get too crazy on the group of guys that you hunt with, just because it turns into this buddy takes this buddy, and then so far and or so it keeps going like that. So you get too many people looking at your spot. So it's usually a pretty tight group of guys, and we just always would take videos and do the same kind of stuff. And I one day for whatever reason I went on and started my TikTok page and posted my first one, and it ended up getting a pretty good amount of views and like 400 likes, and I was like, oh wow, people actually like to see that, and started kind of putting some more thought into it and talking with my buddies about it, and it kind of made me want to do it just because after looking, there's not really any other companies that do kind of what we do in the desert that kind of show our style of hunting or that we actually have any ducks at all. So
Hmm.
um, I figured people would like to see it, and just since I'm always out there, I figured I might as well take some videos. If people like watching it, then I'll put it out there.
Oh yeah, because I was gonna backtrack a little bit to how you started hunting waterfowl in Arizona. Because I remember when we first started talking, I was like, ducks in Arizona. I mean, like, are those like field ducks or? I think that was a question I asked you. Do you guys hunt field ducks? And you're like, no, we hunt water. So what's like the kind of water and the waterfowl scene like out in the desert?
Yeah, so we have, you'd be surprised. We have I mean, a pretty good amount of rivers that run through here. We have the closest to me, the Salt River, which is a pretty heavily hunted area. Just, I mean, it's very simple. It's 15 minutes from my house. I can drive down there, and it's a pretty quick walk in, depending on where you're wanting to hunt. And there's always some kind of traffic of birds up and down it. um, one end of the salt. So the Salt River is basically where our chain of lakes goes. So
Hmm.
there's like Saguaro Lake, Canyon Lake, Apache Lake, Roosevelt, and the Salt River basically connects them all. So there's always kind of some ducks flying up and down it. So you're always going to see something. So we hunt the rivers like that. There's the Verde River, the Gila River, all those that people hunt, and then also the big lakes. We get out on the big lakes mostly just because there's a the rivers seem to be popular with more and more people wanting to try the sport and see what it's all about. So we kind of left that be. Every once in a while, we'll feel like just walking in somewhere and going to hunt one of our old spots, but usually it's a pretty usually it's a pretty far walk in just so that we'll make sure that we're away from some people.
Hmm.
Um, but we've been last couple of years we've been sticking to the big lakes. My buddy, one of my good buddies, Tim, he's had a couple of pretty sick duck boats the last couple of years. So we've been just using the boat and hunting the big lakes. We get out there and scout all week, and then usually by the weekend we'll have an idea of where we want to hunt at and hunt that weekend, and then start it all over the next week.
Nice. I was gonna say, I mean, do you got what's the because I know Lake Havasu is a big lake out there. Is that like one of the lakes you guys hunt, or is that more like off limits and as far as like lakes and you guys do kind of more smaller stuff?
No, so I think I'm pretty sure that you can hunt Lake Havasu. I've never hunted it myself. They've got pretty straightforward laws here. It's just basically following the game and fish laws for the ducks themselves, and then um, quarter mile away from an occupied structure, which is like a bathroom or a park area or anything like that. So
Hmm.
as long as you're doing the right thing like that and making sure that where you're shooting is pretty clear. Um, I'm pretty sure some guys do hunt that, but that's not one of the lakes that we hunt. We hunt Saguaro Lake. We hunt there's a lake called Horseshoe Lake that's kind of a little bit further north of us. Um, there's a lake on the reservation that we actually hunt that's been pretty good. Um, but yeah, mainly it's kind of a we go and scout and figure out where they're at, and then kind of attack that lake. It's not a just deciding, hey, we want to go hit this lake. It's kind of just wherever the ducks are, we're going to go that way. It's kind of hit or miss here,
Hmm. You just follow the migration basically within the state as it goes.
pretty much.
So what kind of I mean, you guys. I know we've talked to you guys get a decent amount and variety of ducks. Do you guys get much geese? Like, what's that variety looking like?
Yeah, so geese here. I don't shoot a lot of geese. I've got some buddies that I talk to regularly here that lease out the farm fields and all that kind of stuff that are actually, I mean, right off the highways here. They've got. I'm guessing that they're like county islands that they're allowed to shoot guns in. But
Hmm.
they lease all those farm fields and they smash the geese, man. They shoot every time they post during season. They're shooting 5 or 6 man limits with all the guys that they have. So there's a ton of geese. And then as far as the ducks go, just crazy mixed bags. Like I mean, you go out and you can never tell what you're going to shoot. Like there's last year we had it patterned pretty good that I mean we killed limits of spoonbills like every single weekend, but we knew where we were going and what we were going to shoot. But usually it's like there's just a wild chance for anything to fly into your spread. I mean, we shoot all different kinds of teal. Cinnamon teal are a huge thing here that people are kind of drawn to. Um, so cinnamon teal, regular teal, mallards, gadwall, spoonbills, canvasbacks. It's just like anything, and it's not. You won't run into like a huge group usually of one type of duck. It'll be just mixed bag of anything on any given day.
Hmm. Would you say cans, all the teal, and what was the other one, Spoon? You said there's like your big three out there.
The big three here, I would say, is probably teal, widgeon, and spoonbills. That's probably what I see the
Oh,
most
okay.
of, but it's not far behind like with gadwall and mallards and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
there's pretty crazy numbers here. Just we're kind of in a weird area where there's a bunch of farmland, like northern Arizona and coming around to the south side, and we're not too far from Mexico and California, so we kind of get ducks from everywhere.
Hmm.
So it's kind of just all over the place, and the you can see them when the migration starts. Like it's crazy just watching in the sky, like how many ducks there actually are that fly through here and fly around here.
Oh yeah. Would you say that Arizona is a very slept on area as far as like ducks and more of like looked as a big game hunting area instead of waterfowl?
There's definitely a lot more big game hunters here. And honestly, just like whenever I started posting on TikTok, I every once in a while I'll post on like we have our local like Duck Hunt Arizona or hunting Arizona. I'll post like stacks of ducks and stuff like that, and people even that live here are kind of like, dang, I didn't know that we had it like that or that we could do that. Um, Last probably 5 years, it's kind of gotten more popular. A lot more people are looking into it and wanting to see it. So I kind of steer clear of. I'll usually wait till the end of season or kind of pick my times that I'll post locally here. I'll usually just try to stick to TikTok or my Instagram,
Hmm.
just so that not too many people kind of see it. But it's definitely a growing sport here in this area.
Almost definitely. I mean, when people think about Arizona, like I mean, me personally, like before we started talking, I know I was always big game, elk, and like all that jazz. But now, like that was since we've started chatting and talking about ducks out there, I'm like, oh, I never really would have thought about that. That makes sense having all the Mexico, well, not Mexico, but like, the ducks come from Mexico, from California, down from like Colorado, Utah.
Yep.
Would do you have a preference of lakes or rivers?
If I
Like
had,
personally, if you had to pick.
yeah, so if I had my preference, man, it's tough because they're two completely different deals here. So if I had to pick, probably the big lakes, because the big lakes that we hunt here are usually pretty big flooded trees. I guess flooded timber. It's kind of weird saying flooded timber in the desert, but they're big trees that we'll get back into. But it's not like the stuff that East Coast guys hunt for flooded trees where you walk out there and it's 3 feet deep or 4 feet deep. Sometimes we'll be hunting flooded trees and we'll be in 12 or 14 feet of water, um,
Right.
and just have ducks flying in there and kind of going crazy. So if I had to pick, probably the lakes.
Now, on the other side of that coin, hunting down in Arizona, you guys have some amazing backdrops to hunt with, man. Like, holy crap, hunting in the desert. Like, would you say not just the ducks, but having that as like a kind of its own, like, hey, you can't really get that other than like maybe Utah or some parts of Colorado, as
Yeah,
like that's what's so cool behind Arizona as well.
yeah, the views are crazy. The sunrise and sunset in the desert is just insane. Like the sky always lights up like crazy bright pink and purple. Um, and then just, I mean, you have giant mountains with cactus all over them. Or if we're up north hunting, you've still got some mountains and you've got big giant pine trees and stuff like that, and you still got the same color sunrise and sunset. So it's definitely special. Like you see all the pictures that people post when they go to like the Grand Canyon of like giant mountains and stuff like that. That's
Hmm.
it. It looks like that in a lot of the areas that we go. Like just wide open mountains and ranges and stuff like that. It's beautiful pretty much everywhere you go.
Oh yeah. Would you say that from doing desert waterfowl, you've had some opportunities that you never would have thought unless you guys had started it?
Yeah, for sure. With friends and stuff like that, I've had tons of people like, I mean, kind of like yourself. Like we've been talking and kind of chatting it up about you guys' hunting versus our hunting and stuff like that. So friendships with people that I probably wouldn't have ever even known about or talked to through social media.
Hmm.
Um, I actually just started doing some stuff with Arizona Ducks Unlimited.
Oh
Um,
wow.
I'm doing some of their promotional videos for like the events and stuff that we go to,
Hmm.
like the raffle banquets and all that kind of stuff. So I've started doing some things with them, which is something that I've always thought would be like awesome to be involved with, but um, just happened to be the right place at the right time. One of the guys seen one of my videos and hit up one of my friends actually that he recognized from the video. My buddy Tim, the one with the boats and stuff like that you see in my
Hmm.
videos a lot. He's like, "Hey man, I seen you in one of these videos. Is this your company?" And he's like, "Oh no, that's my buddy Blake. That's his company." And the guy asked for my number, and we went out to dinner and stuff like that, and got to chatting. And now I do some cool stuff with them. So that's awesome, and that's kind of I've been doing that for a little while now. So that's just kind of a growing relationship. Try and do more and more stuff with them. Um, but hopefully it keeps growing, like more friendships and more kind of partnerships and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I was gonna ask if you have the Heyday box next to you. Are you trying to work with them, or have you worked with them in the past, or is that somebody you like to work with?
I would like to. That's actually I just got these in the mail. That was a gift from some guys for some videos that I actually did for somebody. They sent me a they sent me a dozen of those new mallards that they came out with from Heyday. But that would definitely be a company that I would like to work with. We haven't always used their decoys. I'd always been using Avian X and stuff like that. I was never crazy into the buying the most expensive decoys or this and that. I kind of just used what we had and bought just kind of middle of the road whatever I could find at the local sporting goods store. So Avian X was usually kind of what we used.
Hmm.
Um, but I actually won some of the heydays at a Ducks Unlimited banquet. I think it was last year, beginning of last year, and we started using them. And right away, I knew that those were kind of my deal. I liked them the way that they float and the way that they look and how light they are. So this year we're switching over completely to heydays. So we've got all the mallards now. We've got I think a dozen and a half of the gadwall. We've got a dozen and a half teal and some other stuff. So we're probably going to switch over solely to heyday. So probably try and make a couple of videos and see if I can spark some interest in those guys with some desert content.
Oh yeah, and Heyday's also an I don't want to say new, new, but they're a newer brand of the game, and they, from what I've heard, have been changing the game as far as like how light their decoys are and whatnot, and how
Right.
durable I've heard they are.
Yeah, they're super durable and super light, and I mean they look super realistic, and they actually have an option. So when you buy them, they don't you have to rig them up normal like you usually do any other decoys. But there's also I think they call them the keel weight, which is small weights that slip into the bottom, so you can kind of change how they float. So you got a little bit of variety there, which is super cool. You don't really have that option with any other kind of decoys. So I like that they're kind of trying to kind of try and do something else that some other companies haven't ever done. So I kind of respect them for that.
Oh yeah. You touched on the boat build you guys have going on. What's that been like? And I've been watching. Well, I'm sure you're aware. So like some of the videos that you guys post on the boat, but that boat is awesome, dude. I can't wait to see when you guys get it all finished up.
Yeah, so my buddy Tim had a just a regular I want to say it was a can't remember if it was a 14 or 15 foot from Bass Pro that had a 25 horsepower motor on it. That's what we had last year that you've seen the videos on. And then this year, that's a new Havoc DBST 1756, and it's got a 60 Tohatsu with a jack plate on the back of it. He actually got it delivered from, um, I want to say Southern Mud in Alabama. He got it shipped all the way from Alabama out here. So
Oh wow.
got that shipped out here. I think at the beginning of the summer, maybe is when it got shipped out here, and basically from then on, he basically based that blind off of the Bustum blinds that you see online. That there's a company called Bustum.
Hmm.
They started doing a DIY kit that you can purchase from them, and there's no welding involved, anything like that. But Tim had called the owner and was kind of chatting with him and seen some of the pictures and kind of based that blind off of their stuff. He actually bought those, like the roof panels that go over the top.
Hmm.
All four of those roofs, he ordered those directly from them, and he ordered some. I want to say some of the siding. He ordered some of that stuff from them. Um, and kind of just built it his own way because there was a few things that he wanted to change, and usually their boat blinds have three roofs on top, and then the deck is usually kind of just open. But I have a duck dog, so we were wanting to have a fourth roof on there for the dog to sit under. So
Hmm.
he made it with four roofs, and then I'm sure you've seen in the videos all of those doors on the sides kick open, and they're on shocks, so the
Oh
dog
wow.
has an area to exit from, and then
Hmm.
it's got a ladder built on the side for the dog to get back in the boat. So it's pretty cool, man. It's got all kind of stuff like that. I've been trying to keep up with the videos of posting just so that everybody can kind of see the ins and the outs, but that's kind of as far as we've gotten. We started brushing it in last weekend. I posted one video. I was over there actually a little bit earlier today, and he had finished up everything except for the rooftop. So I'll be doing another video here soon of kind of the finished product.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing it. What kind of future plans do you guys have for Desert Waterfowl Co? Like, what do you guys have in the future? Do you guys want to try to expand out and get more different content in places outside of Arizona? To stay around the local area?
Yeah, so starting out, we don't have any out of state hunts planned this year. We're actually pretty busy. Um, so not this weekend coming up, but the next weekend I have a turkey hunt, and then at the end of the month, right? I think the week after duck season starts, we have a deer hunt. My buddy Tim actually drew a deer tag down south, and then in November, one of the sometime I can't remember. I think it's middle of November. I have another buddy with an elk tag, so we're gonna be stuck around Arizona this year, which is, I mean, that's what we have always done. So we'll have mostly content around here, which people seem to like. I think they're still in shock of that we have what we have out here in the desert, and that it's actually super similar to what guys do on the East Coast, just a little bit different environment. But probably down the road, maybe next year or the year after, probably try and do some out of state stuff. There's super good hunting all around us, Oklahoma, New Mexico. I actually have buddies that go to Oklahoma and hunt fields and stuff for geese. I got buddies that go to California and hunt. There's actually really good hunting in California that those guys do. So we'll probably venture out probably next year or maybe the year after, but this year will mostly be desert stuff.
I was gonna say I've had a couple of people on that from both California and that have hunted in Oklahoma, and the people from Oklahoma that have been to Oklahoma said that Oklahoma is one of the new waterfowl meccas to be, and
Yeah.
California. I mean, shoot, you can. I mean, you're probably more aware because you're out that way than I am, but as far as I know, like I've always heard California pintails are live and die by that up there in North Cal and in the valleys.
Yeah, we have lots of pintail. I mean, I just experienced from here in Arizona. We have tons of pintail that fly out here. It's one of my favorite ducks. I actually have a pintail tattooed on the inside of my arm.
That's
Um,
awesome.
one of my favorite ducks. So they're definitely here. I've actually glassed up and found on. We have cattle tanks here that a lot of guys will jump shoot.
Hmm.
I've glassed up on tanks and on lakes and stuff, just piles and piles of roosts of pintails, which is just crazy to see. But a lot of a lot of those areas that are kind of secluded, there's few enough hunters here that birds kind of are comfortable and just kind of chill. So it's kind of a middle zone where they can rest and have a good time.
Hmm. That's good that you guys have that. I mean, I was gonna ask you, it doesn't sit. I mean, from what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem like you guys have too much pressure out there for waterfowl. It kind of seems like even how Arizona has everything set up as far as like game lands wise, they have a nice like cushion for everything to have rest and whatnot. What's your kind of take as far as like pressure for waterfowl and stuff like that out there?
Yeah, so there are it is growing. Like I was saying, the last 5 years probably it's gotten super popular compared to whenever I first moved here. I've lived here for probably I think I've lived here like 9 or 10 years at this point. But last 5 years it's kind of taken off. But if I mean the pressure is kind of like secluded. Like most of the guys will hunt off of like a John boat where you can't get too far. Like a trolling motor powered John boat, not a motorized one.
Hmm.
Um, or they'll hunt the rivers, like I was saying. So they hunt very specific spots. So there's tons of the state that I feel like a lot of people don't hunt, or just like there's random cattle tanks all over the place because there's tons of ranchers and stuff like that that you'll just come upon. Like we'll be big game hunting and come upon a cattle pond or a sipper just out in the middle of the desert, and there'll be just ducks stacked in there, and it's the wildest thing. But a lot of those areas get no pressure, so they have places to kind of sit like that. But I think most of there there's not a ton of not a ton of hunters compared to the East Coast here, but it seems like there are because they're all kind of hunting the same areas.
Hmm. That makes sense. I was gonna say because I know where I'm at, East Coast, down south, Arkansas, all have like not ungodly. Well, Arkansas does, but there's a lot of pressure where I'm at, and a lot of pressure in other places, and it's kind of interesting. The more I've talked to waterfowl guys, it's like people. I mean, like Arizona, for example. Like, yes, there's some pressure, but there's enough to have them not be as pressured either. So it's like it's also a overlooked place because of the big game opportunities, so to
Yeah,
speak.
definitely.
What is your top three favorite ducks? Because we know we can't just have one.
Yeah, so top three favorites. Spoonbills, no specific order. Spoonbills got to be in there. A lot of guys don't like shooting them or don't like eating them. If you've seen my Instagram, you see that we kill just insane amounts of spoonbills. Um, so those are there. Cinnamon teal are for sure there. Just if you can shoot them late season, they're just some of the prettiest ducks. We've kind
Hmm.
of we're kind of spoiled here to where I mean guys will go out and shoot an entire limit of cinnamon teal, which is just nuts to some people. So
Yeah.
cinnamon teal, and then honestly, I'm a huge fan of widgeon. I love widgeon, so probably widgeon, cinnamon teal, and spoonbills got to be my top three.
Awesome. I was gonna say I feel like widgeon are kind of not underrated, but semi underrated ducks. But they're beautiful,
Oh,
especially
absolutely.
especially like in the head because you can get different colorations of the grays and the white in the
Yeah,
heads.
absolutely. The storm shoot a lot of storm widgeon out here that have just crazy colors on their heads like that,
Oh
and then
yeah.
I do have to mention Gadwall is a close into that top three for me. I'm a huge fan of gray ducks. A lot of people I don't think give them the love that they should get, but those are super cool ducks too.
Awesome. Well, before we get wrapped up here, I appreciate you coming on. I love asking my final question to everybody. It's the same question. What is your why that keeps bringing you back for more?
My why is it's honestly it's hard it's hard to explain because like we have so many different types of hunting here,
Hmm.
um, the deer and the elk and all that kind of stuff. But if you ask me during the summer what I'm looking forward to, it's not hunting season, it's shooting ducks.
Hmm.
Um, it's I honestly don't have the greatest answer for you about why. It's just something about I mean the whole I love it from the time you wake up at 2:30 in the morning and hit the gas station with the guys laughing and clowning around in the truck and blaring crazy music and listening to whatever, to freezing out there on the boat rides, sitting there before the sun comes up and just hanging out with some of your best buddies, and just I, it's like nothing else. I love deer hunting just as much, but ducks is just something different, you know. And I try to I try to introduce as many people as I can to it. Like my girlfriend had never done it. Just like deer hunting, she had never done deer hunting, but she had never been duck hunting. Made sure that she went out with us and shot her first ducks and kind of took her out during the late season, so she got the rough end of being super cold, but we had
Hmm.
the we had the heaters in the blind, all that kind of stuff for her. So I made sure I took her out. I've taken some of my best friends out and showed them what it was all about, and some of my buddies that are always been diehard only big game hunters, take them out there and show them all about it. It's something that I've always been drawn to. It's Deer hunting, I know that it's gonna come and go, but duck hunting is just kind of what we live around.
Oh yeah, and I can totally relate to that because I've taken people out before that have never gone, and just to see not only their reaction when they get the opportunity and get ducks, but to see their reaction when the ducks come in and work and see how the ducks actually put on a show that they're supposed to in some cases, and they just
Yeah.
light up like a Christmas tree. Like they're like, whoa.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had that happen. It's crazy out here because there's a lot of guys that jump shoot, which I don't know if you're familiar with the term jump shooting, but
Mm-hmm.
they'll go and jump shoot a lot of these cattle ponds and stuff like that. And I've done it before. Not my thing. I would rather go and set out 3 dozen decoys and not shoot a single duck, and go through all the hassle than jump shooting ducks. But
Mm-hmm.
taking guys out that only jump shoot specifically, and showing them how birds work and getting them to come in the decoys, I mean, like you said, their face says it all. Like it's insane watching ducks work, and I could go out there with no shotgun honestly and just watch them work the decoys and call at them and get their attention. That I get just as much excitement out of that as shooting them and stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, before we get going, bro, do you have any final plugs, shout outs you'd like to give where the people could find you guys at with more content?
Yeah, just Instagram and TikTok at Desert Waterfowl Co. Um, Facebook we don't have rolling yet. We don't really have a website just yet. I've done one hat drop, which is the hat that I'm wearing. Uh, I've done one of those and sold out immediately, and I haven't gotten back around to another drop. I was kind of growing things a little bit and seeing what kind of interest I could get before I did another drop because I sold out so fast. I wanted to do a little bit bigger the next time around.
Right, see
So
how it really does.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. So you can look out for us on Instagram and TikTok, and we'll post next time that we're probably going to do some. We're starting to grow in in followers and stuff like that. So there's definitely going to be some giveaways and stuff like that coming during duck season and after duck season. So look for that. But that's pretty much it with us, man.
Awesome. Well, Blake, man, I thank you for coming on tonight and sharing what a great waterfowl and hunting you guys have out in the desert there in Arizona. And I always extend the invite if you ever want to come out here or put the East Coast on your list. You're more than welcome. We'll make it happen. I love putting people on birds. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That offer stands for you as well. If you ever make your way all the way to the West Coast out here, just shoot me a DM and I'll see what we can do. Can't promise you ducks, but I can promise you some cool scenery and some views and stuff like that. So
Oh yeah, I'm definitely in for that, man. Sign me up.
perfect.
Well, thank you again, and thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Blue Hen Outdoors podcast. Thank you.